Hello everyone! So today I'm just going to be painting this oil lamp in my sketchbook. I've only just realised I've actually drawn it a bit wonky. It's a bit lopsided. Oh, I got some shavings on my hand. It's that way. Sometimes if I sketch and I'm not sketching on a table, I do actually draw at an angle, and I think that's what happened here. But I'm still going to paint in it simply because I don't want to sound lazy, but the idea of rubbing it all out and starting again doesn't appeal to me. So ignore my awful handwriting. I'm going to rewrite these at some point. Because I was trying to decide, I could do indigo for the background, but I always use indigo for my paintings and doing backgrounds and stuff. So I was thinking maybe I could do mix like how could I just a rustic brown, or at least I'm going to try to do a rustic brown. So um so that's Van Dyke brown, burnt umber, and then raw umber, because I wrote down these wrong, so I had to switch them on my paper because I got some arrows. So and some, I took cadmium pale hue, maybe a bit of cadmium orange, just a tiny bit of raw umber, uh, some of that cadmium yellow hue. The problem is this probably isn't going to go that far. And if I'm going to do the oil lamp in brown as well, that might be a bit difficult. I need to replace this cadmium yellow hue. Yeah, that is correct. Maybe a bit of cadmium red, just a little bit. Okay, now I'm just adding all the colours. Let's try this. If I lighten it up, maybe. Sorry, this is taking a long time. A lot of people, obviously, they like to see people mix their colours. Oh, that's a bit lighter. Oh, some of the bristles are falling out of this brush. That's a shame. I hope that doesn't mean it's going to break. I like this brush. Some people like you to see you mix your colours, which isn't a problem. The only problem is it takes me so long to decide what I like. So when I do a real-time video, unfortunately, this is the reality. Okay, I like that. I like that colour. So that was a mix of everything, really. That was a mix of all of those colours and the cadmium yellow hue more than the others. Right. So let's actually get painting. And I hope I've done this so it's actually in frame. I've been recording for 4 minutes. 4 minutes, and it was just me spending forever getting a background wash. I'm doing it loosely as well. Just sort of. I'm not going to be too neat because the oil lamp is going to be basically a darker coppery type colour anyway. So it will go over the top of the background wash. I don't really know what made me want to paint this, to be honest. Just felt it inspired. Let's go to. So like I said yesterday, I'm still recovering a little bit from a cold, so I'm sorry if there's any sniffles. I know it's not particularly nice sound to listen to. So I've just done this as a loose wash. Just like that. Maybe I could... Oh dear, that's not what I meant to do. Bit of indigo. It's so hard not to add indigo to things. I love indigo. Or cadmium yellow. Oops. Yeah, at some point I must replace that. I mean, that's pretty empty. To be honest, that's pretty empty. Oh, that's a bit darker. Is this background still wet enough for me to drop in a darker colour? Right now it looks like a mess. I'm not really happy with this bit. It's loose, but I don't want to. Maybe a bit of this colour down here as well. Yeah, I think I'm going to maybe leave it like that, maybe let it dry. There's one thing I want to do, which is Van Dyke Brown, and I'm just going to add this to colour here. Now, how am I going to do this? I don't have my circular tool with me, so can I do it without one? No, I'm going to go get it. I'm going to go get it because I don't want to mess it up. I'm just going to get my smaller paintbrush. Tiniest one that I own. I really like this paintbrush. Or maybe a bit darker. It's hard to tell. Because I'm doing this wet and wet, so I want to do it in wet and wet because I want it to sort of blend. Just like that. Oh, there we go. And like I said, I wanted it to look rustic, so I've just done it so it looks like a coffee stain. I might just dab this bit here on the handle. Hello, I'm back. So I've let that dry a little bit. I did another one up here. I also just splattered, I don't know why I'm doing this. It's the motion that I do with my paintbrush. I just tap it. So I've added some splatters to add to the coffee stain look. I didn't add a lot. I didn't want to overwhelm it. Sometimes when I do splatter with paint, I do it a bit over the top. So also, I mentioned yesterday new camera angles and everything, and I'm trying to work on some of the camera settings. So I think today we'll have higher resolution. I don't know. I'm figuring it out. There's so many settings that I can tweak and stuff. I'm learning. And I'm also learning to try and make sure not to move this too much so I know it's in the frame. So anyway, so let's actually see if I can accomplish what I wanted. The only bit I'm worried about is this bit, because I haven't done like the bulb. Oil. Do oil lamps have bulbs? Well, I know the oil. What do you call it? A burner? Oh, I know what I mean. I know what I'm on about. Trying to talk on real time videos. It's not good. I trip over my words. I think I probably always will. So that's the one problem is, do I do this in indigo? Do I do it in grey? I could just try and make it transparent, but we'll see. Right, so I know I wanted a copper colour, so the pale cadmium red pale hue, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, because that's cadmium orange, cadmium yellow, cadmium red, cadmium orange, cadmium pale hue, light. Oh no, this is called light red. According to this, that's light red. Okay. Well, anyway, it doesn't really matter. I wanted a copper colour, so this will do fine. But I might add a bit of brown for a darker copper colour. Just like, not rust, but just a darker version of that. And that's better. And then add a bit more water to just the light red by itself. And then, in all honesty, I might mix a bit in with that Van Dyke brown, because that might be an interesting difference in colour as well. There we go. So it's watered down. I don't have a reference, which is because I'm going to try and do this so it's shiny, so I probably should have thought about that. But so first, I'm just going to do a wash. I'm also realising I probably should have maybe rubbed out the sketch a bit more. Just going to dab, see if I can dab that a little bit. Not sure, I kind of like this colour a bit better. But I don't want it to be a bit, oops, that's on the table, a bit harsh. But I mean, I can work on it as I go. At the moment, it's a bit of a sketch. Also, if you see, I don't know if you can, there is one strand of bristle that is away from the rest of the paint, the rest of the bristles, and I can't seem to pull it out, and it doesn't seem to want to go back. Oh, it did then. You can just see it sticking out, and it distracts me every time I see it while I'm painting. I spot it, and I also realised when I did the splatters, I was wearing this back to front. I was wearing my cardigan back to front. So there's some useless facts for you. Is that obviously I didn't get dressed properly today. Oh, I'm also not painting in the lines very well. Maybe I should have used my thinner brush. I might change to the thinner brush actually in a second. Yeah, maybe it's the brush. Maybe it's just a bit too thick for what I'm doing. I'm finding it difficult to... It sounds silly to say painting the lines. But I don't appear to be having a steady enough hand for this. Should I add? No, I'll add... I definitely will add the darker sort of tone and colour to maybe add some definition. Definitely with the thinner brush. So if I'm just switching to a smaller brush, not the thin brush, but I'm just going to... Because if I leave that a bit blank, it might be too bright of a highlight. And if I do make a mistake, I do have an acrylic pen and a white gel pen that hopefully I could. So if I do the same here, it shouldn't be fully dry if I just lightly do that. So a bit of the paint gets in that bit like that. It's still lighter, if that makes sense. I'm trying to use the wet and wet technique to do this. Yeah, so oops, might have been a bit much that I just added to my paintbrush. So I think the one painting I can see me have, one thing, sorry, about this painting I can see that I'm going to have trouble with is probably getting definition. I probably should have done indigo instead, but we'll see. Unfortunately, not all paintings turn out how you like them, and my videos aren't really tutorials, they're just sort of painting with me. I mean, I'd be happy to do tutorials where they're actually planned, where I've actually, you know, designed them to be tutorials. But when I do things like this is me just painting and hoping it works out. So I still sort of, doing a real time, I'm still sort of talking about what I'm doing. It's just, I'm going to make mistakes, but that's fine. And in the future, when I paint another oil lamp, hopefully I will have... That's still a bit too wet to add darker colour. I probably would have hopefully learnt some skills. Right, so lighten up. Use this one again and just basically do the same thing. Also, I'm not very good at painting perspective. So this looks a bit strange to me because I don't have a reference with me, but I did reference the sketch. I don't have it like on my phone, but I was sketching it yesterday, so I had something to paint for today. I did have a reference, and this bit here looks thinner, and then this bit round here in the picture looked wider, but they still, you could tell that they still sort of blended. I don't want to say blend, that doesn't sound right to say blend, but you could still tell that they were one object, whereas obviously with the way I've drawn it in pencil, it looks like it's not attached. And that sort of perspective has always been a struggle for me. you know, and I am practicing it, because I did actually, like I said, when I was sketching it to prepare, so I had something to paint for this video today, I did actually rub out the base and try again, and this base was a lot better than the first attempt. So hopefully when I paint this again, it'll be an even better attempt until you hopefully get the results you're looking for. Or at least that's always what you hope. Oh, that's a bit dark. I'll add some more water. Some more water to that. Oh, that is a bit dark. Oh dear. Ah. Well, it will dry a bit lighter, so... Yeah, at the moment it's looking more like a sketch. I really should have rubbed out the pencil lines. So I've just wet my brush. I'm just going to dry it off on the paper towel. Get some clear water out of my other glass jar that I don't think you can see. And I'm just going to pull out the pigment. So like I said, it's not too harsh. It's not a pure white highlight, but it's lighter than this bit. Well, see, I'm liking it. I'm happy with it. I am struggling to, like I said, to get the higher definition. Well, hopefully when it's a bit more dry, I can sort of deepen this colour and go around and adding deeper parts. So I might... I just realised that I've missed a button. Not that I'm sure you'll be able to see it. Might have to define that more. But I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll come back and then I'll try and add some more details and see how we go from there. Right, so everything is now dried, and I've added more of this and the light red, the Van Dyke brown, and I'm going to add just maybe a touch of indigo. I'm just doing it in the corner just so I know how dark I've added. Ooh, you see, that's really dark. I don't know if I want it that dark. Add a bit more light red. I'll go for that. I'll use that. I'll use that. I don't want to spend the rest of this video just me mixing the watercolours. Okay. Oh, I'm a bit nervous where to try this first. Let's try it up here. Actually, I'm going to use my thinner brush. I'm too nervous to use the bigger one. Don't know. That does look darker. Because I want it dark, because obviously watercolour dries a bit lighter. So if I do this one, with a lot more indigo in it. Oh, so I like how that's looking. I'm still a bit disappointed though, because I still, to me, in my opinion, I still haven't got the detail that I was hoping for. If you hear noises, it's my dog. He's possibly having zoomies. So I did earlier, just going to sort of pull out maybe some of the pigment a little bit. Oh, I don't know if I like that. It's a bit late now, but I'm not sure if okay, I'm going to be back in just a second. I think my dog. Yep, he is. He's whining. I'll be back in a little bit. Hello, everyone. I'm back. I did add a bit more. I forgot to press record. Yeah, my pooch just wanted some attention. Bless him. He went out. Because normally he's in here with me. As a sort of, I've said a couple of times, like my painting companion. So he's normally around. But today he was having a nap. I don't know how I feel about this. Oops, that's not the bit oh well. I meant to put it under here. I'll just sort of maybe do that. Yeah, I like it. I'm just still not quite happy with the lack of details and colours, maybe. So definitely need some highlights, which I'll do at the end when it's all completely dry. So I use quite a lot of that colour, so I'm going to try and make it again. Oh, that's a bit dark. Just using the light red, too much indigo, and the Van Dyke brown again. And actually, maybe that's a bit dark, but we'll see. I can. I know this is going to be a long video, but I did actually say that I wanted to do sort of longer real-time videos. I don't know how boring they'll be. Oops. Well, that was a bit more than I meant to use. A bit under here for shadow. Or at least what I would imagine the shadow would be. Yeah, so now I'm going to very carefully get around there. Now, how am I going to do this? If I just mix some of this colour up here, slightly a bit of indigo. I don't mind this mixing. Ooh. I should have maybe thought that through a little bit more. Just doing it. I wish I'd planned out the light bit a bit more, but I don't think that looks too bad. Just add a bit darker here, maybe over here. Yeah. But see, I quite like that. I'm quite happy with how that's ended up. It's not perfect. I wish I'd given it more thought. If I do this, it's going to mix a little bit. But I was going for rustic, and I think I managed to do the rustic part. So I might let that dry, and then the final touch bed in the highlights. Problem is knowing when to call it quits and stop, because sometimes if you overwork a painting, it can turn out really good, and you know, sometimes when I do that, I think, oh, that's good, I'm really glad I carried on. And sometimes when you carry on, you can look at it and think, oh, I should have left it. So now it's out. I'm going to put my paintbrush down. I'm going to tell myself I'm going to leave it, and then I'll be back for the highlights when it's dry. So I've just got this pen, and I'm just going to do some. Oh, it's still a bit wet in some areas. I'm just going to add some highlights. Oh, this pen doesn't really highlight. Oh, sorry, pencil case check. Ah, let's try this one. This one's a bit brighter. Probably should have used my acrylic pen. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. So it's okay, I'm just going to turn my sketchbook. Problem is, sometimes when I'm sketching, it's not for a video, I do actually tend to draw and sketch and paint at an angle. So it's not very good for a video. It doesn't give a good view, obviously, but just using my hand as a paper there. So sometimes I find it a bit awkward using the pens where I want them to go, because I draw and sketch like this. I will sketch like this. It's very strange, but it's just where I find it comfy. So I apologise for the wonky camera angle. Bit of highlight under here, highlight down there. I don't know. I could have used my acrylic pen and the highlights would be a bit harsher, but I don't know if that's the look I want to go for. But, you know, after the fact, if I don't like how this looks, I can always add them. But it's always difficult to get rid of your last minute details. Little handles for the handle, but I didn't have enough room for the whole illustration. Also, it's kind of my fault that they aren't that bright. Paint's still a little bit damp. So this is more my impatience than the pen's fault. But sometimes I like the white pen if it's a bit more muted, because sometimes I smudge it. So I like using it if it's a bit damp. Anyway, so I think I got the rustic look I was hoping for. That's pretty much finished. Again, you can see that it's on the page. It's not straight. It's lopsided, but that doesn't matter. Anyway, thank you so much all for watching. If you're still here, I know this is a longer video. If you're still here at the end, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for sticking around. Feel free to leave me a comment and subscribe. And now I'm off to go take my painting companion, my dog, for a walk because I think that's what he's waiting for. Anyway, bye bye.